Let's talk about Orlando Brown, a name that has certainly gotten some attention recently, especially for his controversial comments and claims. If you've been keeping up with the entertainment industry, you'll know that Orlando, once a beloved Disney Channel star from the hit show That's So Raven, has had his fair share of ups and downs over the years. From a bright career as a child star to his struggles with addiction, mental health, and his turbulent relationships, Orlando has definitely had a lot to say in recent years. But the latest chapter of his story is one that has truly captivated the internet and social media. Recently, Orlando made some eye-opening statements about none other than Diddy, the hip-hop mogul, entrepreneur, and one of the biggest names in the entertainment industry. You see, Orlando hinted at a much deeper connection between himself and Diddy, one that has caught many people off guard. And this wasn't just a casual comment. It was a wild assertion, full of mystery, leaving fans questioning the nature of their past interactions. In fact, Orlando's comments seemed almost too bizarre to be true. He suggested that he and Diddy shared more than just a professional relationship, alluding to some hidden, more intimate bond. And the way he spoke about it, well, let's just say it raised more questions than answers. Was this just an offhand remark? Or was Orlando trying to expose something deeper about the secretive world of high-profile celebrities? But things didn't stop there. Orlando took it even further by saying that he actually enjoyed whatever relationship he was alluding to. He described the experience with enthusiasm, saying that he loved whatever it was he was talking about, even though many were left scratching their heads about what he was really implying. To most, it sounded like an awkward tease, as though Orlando was toying with the idea of revealing something sinister without actually coming out and saying it. Some fans found his words to be entertaining, while others were genuinely concerned, not knowing if Orlando was simply seeking attention or if there was more truth to his claims than anyone realized. His behavior seemed a mix of playful and unsettling, like he was trying to push the boundaries of what people thought he might be capable of saying. Now, let's get into the details, because Orlando didn't just drop a couple of mysterious comments and leave it at that. Oh no, he went much further, offering a detailed recount of a wild and chaotic night at one of Diddy's infamous parties. For those who aren't familiar with Diddy's reputation, his parties are legendary in Hollywood. They're known for being over the top, full of celebrities, and often spiral into madness. Orlando painted a vivid picture of one such event, describing an atmosphere that was completely out of control. The music, the drinks, the crowds, it all felt like an overwhelming blur of excess. But Orlando, instead of recoiling from the madness, actually confessed to having a great time, despite the chaos. He didn't seem fazed by the strange and out-of-control environment that he was describing. Instead, it felt like he was almost bragging about how wild and unpredictable it all was. For Orlando, it seemed like part of the fun was the sheer unpredictability of it all. However, there was an underlying tension to his recounting. While he openly admitted to enjoying the atmosphere, there was also a sense of knowing something was off about it. He didn't get into specifics, but you could tell there was a deeper layer to his words that hinted at a world that wasn't as glamorous as it might seem. Orlando suggested that there was an understanding when you entered Diddy's circle. You're in for life. Once you're part of his world, there's no easy exit. This revelation immediately sparked intense conversation on social media, with fans speculating what Orlando really meant. Was he talking about some sort of secretive industry ritual? Or was he simply referring to the power dynamics that exist when you're around people like Diddy, who have so much influence over the music and entertainment worlds? The internet was buzzing with speculation. On one hand, you had those who were deeply concerned for Orlando, wondering if his past struggles with addiction and mental health issues had led him to make these bizarre claims. Others, however, took a more skeptical approach, suggesting that Orlando was just trying to stay relevant in the public eye, using shock value to get attention. Either way, his statements were certainly captivating. They made people pay attention whether they agreed with him or not. And considering Orlando's history of making outlandish comments, no one could quite figure out whether to take him seriously or dismiss him as just another celebrity in a downward spiral. But the real twist came when Orlando went even further in another interview, diving into the darker side of his alleged experiences with Diddy. He didn't just stop at vague comments or strange anecdotes. He started offering more concrete examples. Orlando spoke about the infamous parties once again, but this time he took it a step further, describing how people were constantly pushing their limits. The atmosphere was intoxicating, yes, but it was also dangerous. People around Diddy were living life on the edge, constantly surrounded by temptation. Orlando said it was easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of fame, money, and power, but he also warned that there were consequences to this lifestyle. It wasn't all glitz and glamour. Behind the scenes, there were darker forces at play, forces that could alter the course of someone's career, or even their life. This wasn't a message he was delivering with a sense of fear or regret. Rather, it felt more like a warning to those who might think they can handle it all. Orlando was offering a glimpse behind the curtain, showing the world of excess, greed, and manipulation that was just out of view for the average person. But then came a moment that left everyone stunned. Orlando shared a story that, frankly, sounded like something straight out of a movie. He told the story of how Diddy once invited 50 Cent to go shopping. Now, that might sound like an odd detail to many of us, but Orlando's take on it was anything but ordinary. He made it clear that when someone like Diddy offers you a shopping spree, you don't say no. Why? Because turning down Diddy's offer could lead to consequences you might not be prepared for. There was more to the story, and Orlando hinted at a level of power and influence that could shape the lives of people in ways they never expected. He wasn't just talking about an extravagant shopping trip. He was talking about the subtle ways in which Diddy maintained control over those around him. The more Orlando spoke, the clearer it became that there was an unspoken code in Diddy's circle, a code that was about power, influence, and control. Orlando also shared how, if you were ever invited to one of Diddy's parties, the safest option was often to decline. It wasn't just about avoiding excess or partying too hard. It was about staying out of situations that could potentially ruin you. According to Orlando, if you gave in to the temptations of that world, you could easily find yourself in a mess you couldn't escape. He spoke about people who had been led astray by their own desires for fame and success, only to find themselves trapped in a world that offered no way out. This was a stark warning, especially for those who might be just starting out in the entertainment industry. Orlando wanted to make it clear, what seems like a dream can quickly become a nightmare. At this point, Orlando was speaking from a place of experience, and his words were laced with a sort of wisdom born out of hardship. He warned that the pursuit of fame in the entertainment industry could lead to the loss of your soul, a concept that was both profound and unsettling. Orlando wasn't holding back in his interviews. He was telling it like it is, from his perspective. He acknowledged that the world of Hollywood wasn't all it seemed, that the glitz and glamour were often a facade to cover up the darker realities beneath the surface. For him, the price of success was too high for many, and he wanted to make sure others understood the dangers before they got too far into the game. It was a message of caution, a reminder that fame comes with a price that not everyone is willing to pay. And then, there's the curious case of Cassie. Cassie, Diddy's longtime partner, became the subject of Orlando's commentary when he suggested that she might have known what she was getting into when she first entered Diddy's world. Orlando even went so far as to say that Cassie might have been hazed by the industry, meaning she was subjected to some form of initiation before becoming part of Diddy's circle. This was a wild claim, but it was also consistent with the darker narrative Orlando had been building. He suggested that Cassie had traded her integrity for fame, something that many people in Hollywood had done before her. Whether or not you agree with Orlando's interpretation, his comments certainly added fuel to the fire surrounding Diddy's mysterious reputation. But Orlando's revelations didn't stop with Cassie. He continued to open up about other connections, alluding to the fact that people like 50 Cent and YK Osiris might have been involved in strange situations under Diddy's influence. YK Osiris, for example, had been seen vacationing with Diddy in Jamaica, and there were rumors that the trip wasn't just about relaxation, it was part of an initiation process. Fans began to wonder if the trips and the social media photos were more than what they appeared. They speculated that Diddy was trying to recruit Osiris into his inner circle, and the trip was part of that process. Orlando's comments only fueled these theories, suggesting that there was more going on behind the scenes than anyone realized. And with all of this, Orlando wasn't simply telling stories for the sake of gossip. He was offering a view of a world that most people could never even imagine. He was pulling back the curtain and allowing us to see what was really happening in the world of the rich and famous. Whether it was a warning, a confession, or a plea for help, Orlando's words were getting people to question the status quo and rethink what they knew about the entertainment industry. In his own way, he was shedding light on the darker side of fame, and people were listening. Now, as we wrap up, one thing is clear. Orlando Brown is far from done sharing his story. With each new interview, new revelations emerge, and the world continues to watch in anticipation. As wild as his claims may seem, it's impossible to ignore the fact that Orlando is speaking out, and his words are making waves. Whether or not you believe everything he's saying, one thing is for sure: he's not afraid to speak his truth, no matter how controversial it might be. He's telling his side of the story, and he's forcing us all to take a closer look at the people we once idolized. If you found this video interesting, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. There's always more news, more revelations, and more stories coming your way. Don't miss out on what's next, and as always, stay tuned for more updates. Thanks for watching.